Hey, what's up, you guys? We've got a 30-minute unrated, rapid unrated rapid challenge on the board. We're just going to play something dead. Oh, do you know what? Let's go back to Vienna. I played the Vienna in an awful long time. So my opponent's rated 1433 from Österreich, Austria. Seeing as they're Viennese, okay. And now this is actually this is the computer response to the Vienna. And I'm going to go with what I know. I've been playing this Steinitz gambit thing a few times before I switched over to playing the Danish, and I don't know, it got me. Oh, okay. So they've gone for my direction. So this is actually the move that I've been playing on move 2 as black against the Vienna. Now it's not sound. According to the machine, it's not the best. Obviously it allows a check here, but then that will walk into g6 with tempo. Okay, and now it does mess up black's kingside somewhat. Another idea is simply to take straight away the knight on g8, force the rook to take back. Again, they lose castling rights on the kingside. And then we think, how could we prepare for a black to castle queenside? I'm not sure. Is f3 an option, and with the idea of taking back there, but then we could walk into this. g3 is okay for now, but it's a gambited pawn. Should we take it? Let's take it. See what happens. And out comes the knight. So we've given up the central pair. At any point this d pawn moves, this pawn is going to be undefended. But the idea here is going to be obviously to stay on the front foot if we can. So I'm looking at knight f3. I think I need to resign myself to the fact that this pawn will probably not survive for too long. I think that getting my bishop out here makes some sense. If I were to defend this pawn, obviously queen can't go there or there, so it's queen to f3 is the only real kind of option. Also, it must be noticed that I've kind of wasted a turn with the capture. So I've kind of walked into gambit land, haven't I, really? Maybe the idea now should be to get castled quickly and get my own rook onto the f-file. Because I would anticipate a bishop turning up there to grab this pawn at some point. Now, is knight f3 a good move? They push with tempo. I don't think I want to go there. I'm thinking probably knight e2. Knight e2 has merit. Also supports a possible d4, so I'm going to play knight e2. Knight g to e2. And they've... okay, here we go. Out comes the bishop. Now I could play this, but that is not pleasant because it will prompt this pawn to go forwards. So bishop to d3 does defend my pawn, but only temporarily. I think bishop b5, then I'm threatening to capture this knight, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Okay, so I've given him this right-angled pawn structure, which you quite often see with a b-pawn recapture from the white's perspective. Okay, so we are equal. Material is equal, and my opponent has all the centre. So I quite approve of this. I think my opponent has played pretty jolly good. So knight g3 is a thought, hits that bishop, right? Then you have to say to yourself, well, if I do that, what is my opponent going to do? And does that improve my position or theirs? So if I attack this bishop, if he comes forward, he's going to get hit and opens up my bishop at the same time. If he retreats, I think I'm just going to push d3. I've still got options of castling either way. So I have to say, I like my opponent's position right now. And this is the point of the gambits, right? You get positional or development advantage in response for a material disadvantage, but that material disadvantage is very often short term, as it is here. Okay, h5. So this is now already making me think thoughts of castling long. Knight here is a thought. Bishop will probably drop back. Bishop has options. Does that improve my knight? Is this a thought? If they push, they numb this bishop to blunt this bishop to some extent. d4 takes is nice because I'm targeting the bishop and this pawn. Still keeping my options open for the castling. This immediately... It's okay. Oh, knight to here actually puts two attackers on there, but it is defended twice by knight and rook. So an immediate d4. I'm thinking I favour that. If he pushes, I think he's overextended and he's not done his bishop any favours. Let's try it. He's playing quite quickly as well. It's only used 70 seconds so far. So that's an interesting option actually. Is this okay? He has pushed on. He has pushed on. Right, now this actually gives me a very nice diagonal for this bishop. I cannot see his king going that way now, and really I'm not sure about going that way either, so this looks sexy, this looks okay now. I mean, let's just do a kind of careers check for my knight. That's a thought. That would put pay to any castling ideas at all. I think this just looks really flexible and nice. What if he does that? I'll probably just get ready to castle. Wouldn't be surprised at this. I certainly won't take, because I don't want to invite his pawn to the centre, and I don't really want to invite his queen off the mark either. I'd much rather allow him to take me, and then I improve my knight towards the centre. Notice this kind of outpost is currently guarded. Queen d2 is playable. Queen d3 is not playable. Queen d2 reinforces my bishop, prepares maybe long castles. I don't think short castles is out of the question right now. I don't like his pawns all of a sudden. A couple of moves ago I was singing the praises of his position. Now, not so sure I've got an outpost there. I could stick my bishop there. Knight to g4. Somehow I do not believe this move. My first thought is h3. Can't go there because rook takes. Goes there, king takes. Which can't walk into queen here because I can drop my bishop back. h3. He can't go there because pawn takes. Can't go there because pawn takes. He's just going to have to retreat. I'm pushing. I'm doing it. If he takes, he's going to give up his material, and the queen has no teeth down this file, unless the bishop's going to come here. Do I have reinforcement? Takes, queen comes in, simply g3, then hits the queen with tempo. It hasn't got time to bring the bishop in, so g3 is the move. Yeah? Well, I'm going to look into this kind of delayed move here, delayed Schwarzenberg. I call it Schwarzenberg. I was just looking for a name of a place in or near Vienna that had Schwarz in it, meaning black. So something kind of, a Black Freddy kind of thing. And there's a little quarter in Vienna called Schwarzenberg, which means, I think, Black Town? Black City? Berg is B-E-R-G. Berg is mountain, isn't it? Black Mountain. Berg is town. B-U-R-G, I think. Anyway, any of my German or Austrian or Swiss subscribers, please correct me if you can. Right, so anyway, so that, I don't know what that knight's just done, right? 2 moves, he comes in, as a sniff, shoo, knighty, off you go horse, and off he goes. Okay, now this is a thought, this is a thought. This knight's looking a little bit awkward. It might have an idea about coming around here at some point, but then it's in the line of fire of his undeveloped bishop. So I'm thinking queen d2 is flexible right now. I still don't have to commit to castling either side. My concern about castling queenside is this. We have a semi-open file already. I'd like to stop any progress of this pawn at some point. Should I go short? I'm not concerned about Harry on his own. Harry and Gary together can be a troublesome pair. But if I do this now, right, I could back him up with Harry 4. And that's a thought. That really is a thought. But then that does let the knight back in, doesn't it? So maybe what I should be thinking about is maybe the e-file. Do I castle first, then knight here? f3, just try and open up. Would an immediate f3 be insane? He pushed last time, he can't do that again because I just snatch it. If he takes and takes, I have a semi-open g-file. But more importantly, we've opened up this. So I want my knight here first. Put my knight here is going to cause him an issue. Maybe he pushes g6. Maybe I then stick something in there. I don't know. I'm just going to play queen d2 for now. I'm feeling rather comfortable. I don't like his pawn structure with this extended e4 pawn. He's got an isolated a pawn. He's made too many pawn moves. How many pawn moves has he made? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in 12 moves. That's not the end of the world. But look at mine. I do end up in these middle game positions quite often. Oh, back goes the knight, look. Well, that knight is burning some moves, isn't it? I mean, you take away the moves that this knight has burned with no benefit whatsoever. And black is suddenly looking behind. Okay, f3 takes. I've got a check. I'm liking this f3 idea. And again, I still don't have to castle. There's a quote in the Irving Chernev book, Logical Chess. Castle because you want to or you must, never because you can. Castle with a purpose. Develop with a purpose. Every move that you do on the chessboard should come with a purpose. Okay, now that knight is taking away 1 square from this bishop, right? So if I do come here and threaten the bishop, g6 is an option. Queen here is an option. Immediate f3. I think I'm going to go for that. I'm going to just have a go at his overextended centre. He had a strong centre. I challenged it, and he very quickly pushed on. And I'm not sure. If he takes, I can just recapture. Then I've opened up the G file. I can still castle here. I think a rook is going to want to come to e1 at some point. Don't you think? Hello. Wow. This is balls out pawn play, isn't it? Look at this. Now, I've got a couple of options. Okay, let's start with bishop h2. Bishop h2 keeps eyes on this pawn, which is hampered by the fact that it's taken towards the centre. It means the queen is tied to the defence of that pawn. Okay. Bishop here hits the rook. It's likely to instigate yet another move from this busy knight. If I come here, is he just going to push that? Does that benefit him in any way whatsoever? I do not know. Knight here is another option, counter-attacking the bishop, but then again he just moves out of harm's way, and my bishop still has an issue. This queen move to d2 cut me off a little bit. Now this is still an idea. This is an idea. But look how few squares my bishop has, i.e. he's got backwards from that point. This pawn's stuck, right? It's blocked off. So there's no joy down this diagonal. So that diagonal is worthless for this bishop. This diagonal, again, the queen is tied to the defense of the pawn. But that's it, that's all I've got. From this square, I've got a couple of squares, right? If I drop down here, I'm still controlling this quite sexy diagonal. So that's what I'm going to play. And I feel like long castles is coming soon. Hang on. Oh, you see what I missed? I had two attackers on this rotten pawn. I had the queen behind it. Could have just taken. Isolated as a pawn. Queen can't take because queen takes queen. Oh, you muppet. Overthinking it and yet underthinking at the same time. Oh, you jelly brain. And that was a real waste of a turn. My opponent thought for 49 seconds before that move. I just thought and talked for a minute and a half and then missed the absolute obvious. It's as though I just went, okay, my pawn's under attack, it's defended. Okay, right, stop that line of inquiry because capturing the pawn is clearly not an option. Okay, what I should do is check and verify that thought before shutting off a particular path of inquiry. But yet I have retreated the bishop. Now, queen's got to defend this. I mean, even ideas at some point of sack, queen takes, bang. I've won 2 pawns for a bishop, but more importantly, I've completely smashed his whatever pawn structure he has. Now, if he might start pushing forwards, I don't know. I think that was a mistake on my part. And what do we do when we fall, Master Bruce? We pick ourselves up again. He doesn't take. I've got a thought of taking. You know, it's creating a completely open F file. If bishop recaptures, say oh no, bishop, oof, then his pawns are over. His pawns are over, mate. So I think this move, this is an idea. That was even also a thought that I didn't consider. Counter-attack with a pawn capture. He takes bishop, I take bishop. Right? I'm ready to castle. He's got no hope. I'm getting ready to castle, stick my rooks in the middle, go after the king. Didn't even think about that one. And so much of chess, guys, is... There's two... I was a consultant for an IT startup back in about 2001 to 2003, and my boss Martin came from a consultancy background, right, like PwC, and one of the things that I learned a lot of things from Martin. One of the things I learned was this concept that when you are solving a problem, there are 2 phases of thinking. There's expansive thinking and then contractive thinking. Okay, and in the expansive thinking, okay, you open up your range of ideas. Okay, and then what you do is you look at all those ideas in the cold light of day, and then you narrow down to what are we actually going to do? What's going to fulfill the objective that we want in any kind of project or situation. So it's extremely true in chess. And I think one of the things that really differentiates the more advanced player from the less advanced player is literally just the scope of things that they look at. Right? Yes, the better you are, the smarter you are, the quicker you think, the more patterns you recognise and stuff like that, the quicker you can process, right? And that comes with experience a lot of the time. The more things that you can calculate in the same amount of time. But we should be, in order to improve, just considering every possible option. Consider it, validate it, and either could be in the yes pile or the no pile, right? I immediately went no pile for this. In fact, I didn't even ask the question. And that's a sin in chess. Not even to ask the question. Now, what's my opponent doing here? He's thought for an awful long time about his next move. And I don't really blame him, because his king is now looking rather naked. I'm ruining my mistake, but I need to put that behind me and crack on with the important business of the day. This is definitely an option. Yes, let's get back to the chess. I don't think immediately, because I mean, what's the follow-up if I take there with my queen? His queen's on there. There's no real well, I'm attacking the bishop. Okay, so my queen's on here. I attack his bishop drops back. Then what? Queen here, check. Bishop drops back to here. There's no real venom there, right? Now, if I get castled, clear away some pawns, get a couple of rooks there, the whole landscape is different there for white. What you doing, mate? Come on. You're having a laugh. What's he going to do in this for a whole 0 points because it's unrated? I think the machine will say mistake for that. I think giving up a whole pawn and giving up a pawn isolation, which is worth maybe a quarter of a pawn at least, I think it will categorise that as a mistake. Probably not a blunder. Now, is he still there? I've been to Vienna. It's about 84, 85, something like that. It was jolly hot. But the schnitzels were amazing. Do they make them with veal? I think is it veal? Or pork, the Wiener Schnitzel. Really, I was addicted to that stuff. I haven't been back since. I haven't been to Austria since. But my mate Nick is going to Austria. He's going on a mountaineering, mountain adventure thing in the Alps with some friends to celebrate his 50th, which is at the start of August. My 50th is November. I'm not going to that one. It's just too much of a commitment, because where we live with our little mini zoo that we've got here, I can't disappear for a week and do all that. It's just not on. Such is the life of the smallholder. Has he disappeared? That would be a shame. See, also with a 30-minute game, you have to disappear for quite a long time for it to abandon the game automatically. But his time is now ticking down towards mine. Oh no! Suddenly he moves. Just the minute I move for the keyboard, we have activity. All right, now. Interesting. I'm inclined to capture one way or the other. I'm inclined to capture towards the centre. I've got two attackers on this pawn. There, bishop takes. I will just probably eradicate the bishop. There, pawn takes. I'm just going to do it. Bishop takes, yes, he's attacking this. But then I have knight g3, hitting the bishop and a discovered defence by the queen on the g2 pawn. This knight here would be similar as well. Queen defends pawn. But knight... Actually, then on either square I'm blocking off this bishop. Even knight g1, is that even a thought? I don't know. But it's good to think the unthinkable. He may take here. Because he's got... Well, no, he won't, because he's going to lose his bishop. Okay, so he's not going to take there. He's going to take here with the pawn. If bishop takes, I think I'll just eradicate it, because this knight here on c3 doesn't have any forward prospects, really. No, nothing at all. So I think his bishop's an active piece. My knight is relatively passive. If bishop takes, I'm just going to do that. Pawn takes, and his pawns are... Okay, his pawn's taken. Okay, there we go. Now, if I take... Right, let's just review. This bishop's undefended, pawn's undefended. Defended, defended. Everything else is kind of defended, right? So this bishop and this pawn are potential targets. Queen here is a thought. Castles. I can't take the pawn with a knight because bishop. Oh, well, then I can pin. Bishop here. Or takes. If I take and pawn takes, that's okay. If I take and bishop takes, that's okay. I castle. If I let him take, I can't immediately recapture because I just lose a pawn that way. Or I simply push on. Well, then I've got potentially queen takes here. Oh, I don't know. I think I need to take, yeah? Okay, pawn has taken. Now, I think castles is obligatory, but let's double check. So it gives me ideas of, for example, this. Tax the queen. Oh, I could do that straight away. No, I can't. Can't do it straight away because rook takes rook with check. And that's losing, so I'm going to castle. And now I have an immediate tactical threat. Pawn takes pawn. Sorry, bishop takes pawn, attacks queen. If queen captures, you lose a rook. So I've won a pawn and a rook for a bishop. And that's good. And look at my opponent's structure, or lack of. I like the fact my queen can come onto this diagonal. I'm still liking this diagonal for my bishop. Even got this as a thought, hitting the rook twice. And this really is a case of overextension on black's part. 17 moves, and look at him. Look at his structure. Look where his king is. I say I'm showing off because I've just castled at move 17, and he hasn't. But I always knew I could. This is the point. It was always an option for me. Got queen here. Knight takes pawn. Bishop recaptures. Queen captures. Check. Is it a killer bishop? I have a few people say that they like these longer format live games because you really do then get the, you know, the whole dirty laundry of the thought process aired. You know, I like it as well. I would much rather. I've seen, for example, you know, Grandmaster Simon Williams, Ginger GM, does some games that, I think he calls them longer format games or something, or just longer games, and he really does talk it all through on those games, and I get so much more value out of those games, even though you have to invest an hour and a half, whatever, than I do out of watching these guys just like blitzing out moves with no explanation at all. Anyway, so the busy knight has made yet another move. This bishop is undefended. This tactic is on, guys. You can go away. This tactic is on. Let's think it through. Okay, bishop takes queen. I'm trying to practice as well at the moment. In order to improve my OTB play, my over-the-board play, I'm trying to practice visualising the board without arrows. I know I can switch them off, but they're helpful for you as well. You come near me again, I'm getting the badminton racket, I swear. I swear I am. No, I'll kill you on his move. I'm not killing you on my time. Right, so we take there. Rook takes isn't an option. He has to do something with his queen. He's either going to move, and he's only got some silly options, or he's going to take. Let's do it. Tactics, tactics, tactics. Guns, guns, guns. Right, my opponent's thinking, let's... Badminton racket's brilliant for... Swine. There's two of the bastards. That's what you get in the summer. Now he's thinking, oh shit, isn't he? And I'm just thinking, kill the fly. Think Zen. Did run away in fear. Okay. Yeah, he's now thinking, oh, I've made a mess here. But look at the structure. I mean, look at the structure. Just look at it. It's nasty. I'm expecting him to take there. I'm going to take here. Then what do we see? There's no other option. He's not going to run away with the queen and not take my bishop. There's no point in that whatsoever. So my rook's going to be looking at this bishop. This bishop's also going to be pinned. That means my queen can come flying in here looking at this knight. So queen takes that. This knight's not defended anymore, right? So this is an option. It's down to 13 minutes 32. We're in shorter rapid territory now. Right at the back. He's a quick one, that one. Got one quick and one medium. Okay, he's taken. Right, no brainer. Take the rook. You just buzzed me then, you cheeky bugger. Try not to hit the microphone with the badminton racket, auntie. Now I'm meant to be thinking about my own strategy on my opponent's... Oh, he's castled! Jesus wept! He's only gone and castled, right. This is a thought, this is a thought. That's undefended and so's that, right? If I put my queen here, I'm threatening to trade queens. I'm threatening to take his bishop. The bishop can't move because then I just take his knight and put pressure on this. What's not to like? I'm +3 now. I'm up an exchange and a pawn, although he has a bishop pair on a wide open board. Patience is a virtue. I don't have the patience for chopsticks for this particular exercise. Alright, no, they'll avoid him in there. Anyway, interesting times. I would like, if I can, to eradicate his bishops. If I can trade any of my knights for his bishops, I will be rather pleased. Just open it. I mean, look, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns, okay? I've got one more pawn, but the big difference is three of my pawns are around my king. My king has a bodyguard. His pawns are all isolated. 3 of them are off the mark, 2 of them are deep in enemy territory. So I'm threatening this with check. He can't have that. So options are trade queens, which would be probably inadvisable. Queen to here defends the bishop. Then, are there any checking? He's just flown right in front of my... Come on. Come on. Come on, I can see you, you cowards, you salty dogs, you. Alright, so he's defended with the queen, which is what we expected. Now, Knight here attacks the bishop a second time. If the bishop should move, the knight falls. I'm going to use the clock a little bit now on him. Where can the bishop go? Bishop can go there, there, or there. Wherever it should move, I capture the knight. So, how can he defend the bishop a second time? Well, he can't. This is the problem. Nice flexible knights. I have to just keep an eye on this rook here. It is susceptible to a discovered capture. If I should leave a piece, I mean, is that an idea? For example, if bishop here now, I simply take there. That's probably his best move. In fact, no, bishop there now. I trade rooks. This is what we said before. I trade rooks with check. It's completely forcing. He hasn't got time to take my queen. Then I take the bishop, for example, I don't know, or just shift out of the way. Okay, but we do have to be concerned about this move. But now I think I take the knight, take the bishop, and I think I take with my queen. Few reasons for that. Okay, A, I want the bishop out of the way, for sure. Okay, because it's also the defender of these, but so's the knight, defender of those. I just want to force the exchange, and I also want to get my queen off of the line of that bishop as well. So no ideas of this, because whatever happens now, I can just do that. So anyway, he might take, I recapture. Very happy. I'm now +6. I'm actually up a whole rook and a pawn at this point. Aha! He's done this now. If knight takes here, this is my thought. Knight takes here. Knight takes isn't possible because I win the queen. He can't take here because knight defends. And that just drops a rook, surely. Okay. Now he's collapsing. I've got this knight again. Knight takes, drops the queen. I'm going to win material. Well, I'm going to force a trade. Okay, this is all right. I have that with check. I can play this now like blitz, but I need to try and be a bit more grown up and not. Okay. Let's double check. Check. My rook covers the back rank. Queen covers this, knight covers this. He's got 1, 2 moves. Neither of them is particularly attractive. Okay, I think I'm out of checks other than knight. Knight there forces a trade. Knight there forces a trade. I'm going to recapture with the rook. Am I? Or do I do this? Do I throw in a check first? If I throw in a check first, he can't go on the back rank. No, 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 he can't go there. It's illegal anyway. So that he then... if I take with the rook, again I'm threatening to come in here. There's no real much difference either way. So need to watch out for this lurking queen. Okay, now... I'd like to bring my other rook into play. I think I need to capture... I'm going to capture with a rook now. I'm not worried about this. I just dive out of the way. She comes up here. I've got this. I've even got this now, which forces an exchange. Forces a trade. And I will just go on to win then. Really important at these times, particularly your opponent will try and speed up a lot of the time in order to try and prompt you to speed up also. Now this, check, hits the queen, which is undefended, forces a trade of queens, and now I'm 2 rooks up, and I go on to win. Pawn to b4, defends this, and now we just sweep up. Okay, I'm going to put my rook here. Just keep it on the 3rd rank, where it also defends my rearmost pawn. And now he's got almost nothing. Okay. So he can retreat with his king. I'm going to put my rook on a1. His king can only go there. Ha! If I take the pawn, it's stalemate, is it not? It is not. He has that. If I take the pawn, he has this. And then that's not checkmate because he has this. Okay, let's do it. Can't go here or there. He can go back there as... Oh, not there. He can go back there. So... got to be careful, like here, and he goes there, and then... I know, he can just then flip between these two squares. That's all he's got. He's got this. Right, I'll just do this until the cows come home. Yeah? And now if I go there and queen, it's stalemate. Because he can't go here, here, or here, and he won't be able to go there if my queen's on there. So, also rook here would be stalemate. I've got to allow him this square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn a move. I'm going to play king c2, allowing him to come back here. And now I get a queen with check. Now he's on the wrong square. And now I give another check, and that's mate. That was... he wants to play another one. Sorry, mate, not another one. That's plenty for one day. Interesting game. Interesting game. Let's quickly, together, look at the review. So I'm quite happy with that performance. I don't think I'm in the 80s for accuracy on that one. But I'm expecting the 70s on there. 83! Haha! And a brilliant... And a brilliant move. Okay, one blunder. And the blunder took us nearly to equality as well. Okay, so let's... Okay, that's inaccurate. But it's not as bad as the immediate f5, right? If black plays f5 here, it's +2 to white. So maybe this is an improvement over my Schwarzenberg. Okay, takes is best, good. But also d3 is best as well. Well, they can't both be best, can they? Great move. Okay, it's the only move. And that's a mistake. It says d4, it's a strike for the centre. Okay, recapturing the pawn was inaccurate, should have pushed d4. Yeah, I mean, look, at this point, his advantage is he's got the strong centre and I don't have any central pawn. So the computer's saying, just push on, mate. Push through. That's okay. Again inaccurate. d4 is best. Yeah, I didn't buy that move. And now I think we have a series of dubious. Oh, it says that's excellent. I didn't like that. I think that cost him. And that's a mistake. Yeah, because he just had to move back, isn't it? It says f3 was best. For reasons best known. Okay. Official check. Yeah, obviously that's best. Okay, but where's my blunder? I'm interested in this. It says castle's there, okay. Again the knight moves. He's just burning turns here. That's okay. Again it wants me to castle. Mistake. Yeah. So there you go. I said it was going to be a mistake. I should have taken the pawn. Missed it. I apologise, and that's a blunder. Now I'm +3. Best. H takes g4 is a blunder. It says I should have castled here. It says I should have castled. Taking the open line. Hitting the bishop with my rook. Yeah, this bishop's looking good. My queen's looking good. Yeah. So this is the skill, really. There's this important skill to be able to say, okay, if I play this, what does the board look like? And I'm definitely developing the ability to see a board and go, I like that board, or I don't like that board, or whatever, you know? But yeah, I get it. So that's a blunder. He nearly equalises. That's a blunder. And that's a great move. Knight, oh, this bloody knight. And that was brilliant. Okay, well, a brilliant move is one that is meant to be non-obvious, you know, unnatural looking, but I guess. Okay, and there we go. And the rest is relatively straightforward from there, but interesting stuff. Okay, so Mad Aka, thank you for the game. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you picked up one or two things. And I'll see you soon.